Hello. This is a very impromptu transmission. I'm sitting on my balcony and it's a little bit before sunset. And I've been coming out here most days and getting some pre-sunset sun because the sun hits my balcony directly, like right after 4:35 p.m.-ish. Anyway, so the sun could be relevant for someone. I was walking just now, not just now, maybe like an hour ago, to the local bakery, and when I left, I was listening to something on YouTube, and it was speaking about I don't remember the exact phrase, but someone was saying it was a different person I've never seen on YouTube before. Like, they've never come up in my feed. Speaking of feed, one of the cats on this property, my voice is like leaving. This keeps happening during transmissions. But we will work through it. So the cat crossing my path threw me off because they love, especially two of them, love to like ask for food. Well, really all of them. And so whenever I can, I feed them. Anyway, I actually had a little bit of food for them today. And of course, when I had it, no one was around. And now as soon as I said feed, one of the cats crossed my path. So, but actually the woman who owns this property, I just found out, lives here in the summers, and she just got back. And she actually feeds the cats and has like cat bowls and stuff, which made me very happy. Anyway, what's that phrase? Like you're about to eat good? I don't know, I just heard that in my head. Okay, so anyway, I'm walking to this bakery, and there were some clouds in the sky, but like zero signs of rain. And the person I was listening to on YouTube was talking about like a 24-hour message of some sort of like financial breakthrough. I try not to like cling on to timing, but if we look at the number 24 based on one day, so I'm not sure why I was asked to say that, but there's something about like the nonlinear perception of time and like how we show up in each moment regardless of that linear perspective of time. And so with that, this person, I wish I could give her credit. I don't remember her name because she just kind of like showed up, but she said something like the divine, for her, like the divine is in the rain. And she said it was raining all day where she was in Canada. And I was like, oh, that's lovely. But like zero signs of rain here. Anyway, right after that, I was starting to walk to the bakery, and I felt a drop of water on me, and I was like, is someone throwing water at me? No. And then a few more drops, and then it was just like the sun was shining so brightly, and it was just like a sun shower, but more like a sun sprinkle. And I was just giggling and smiling, So if someone wants to look up what a sun shower means, like spiritually or symbolically, feel free. I'm sure there's like many interpretations. But I have been really sitting with this like another layer of subconscious illumination this week. And today was the first day I woke up like really feeling just genuinely lighter. Like there was so much tension, especially in the hands, the neck, the shoulders, feet, knee, and the knees. As well as like slight skin breakouts. I had a lot of mosquito bites. My left elbow had like a patch, like dry skin patch, and then my scalp was like really dry and getting itchy, like just these different spots. I had a little pimple on my cheek, which I haven't had a pimple on my cheek in like I cannot even tell you how long. Anyway, I'm sharing this because some of you, I feel like, may be going through, even if it's not those exact symptoms, some sort of physical purges and subconscious illumination, and or you may be on the precipice of this. So when this like sun shower and there was like 0 signs of rain, it's funny because I usually joke that the mountain that I can see from my balcony is the Weather Channel, and I like winked at the mountain like, you didn't give me a heads up on this one. Because you can usually tell like the weather by the mountain. It like starts there first. And it was like the cloud was like over me, you know, like there was like barely any other clouds around. So usually like rain clouds are super gray. Like this wasn't, again, sun shower. And then I looked down on the ground as the sun sprinkle was happening. Don't they call like baby showers after the first one a sprinkle instead of shower? So it kind of felt like that, like the baby sprinkle, baby shower equivalent, because there was a lot of rain recently that was kind of also very synchronistically releasing during this purge that was being experienced. And purge almost feels like a bit of a more extreme word, but anyway. I was saying I was looking down at the ground and I noticed a circle with a dot in the center, which looked like the sun glyph in astrology. But also I kept seeing the number 19, which is the sun archetype in tarot. And then there was a circle next to it that was just a regular circle that reminded me of the moon. So again, this subconscious illumination, the sun and the moon coming together. Electromagnetic harmonics, balancing of the electromagnetic fields. Right and left brain hemisyncing, heart brain, gut brain coherence. Just this idea of like polarity integration. Now, so I've been taking notes because there's just been so much information coming in, and I didn't want to record from places of like frantic, not that I've been frantic, but just sometimes, especially in the past, when I would get a lot of information coming in, I would feel this like urgency to get it out, which is just how, not all the time, but here and there. And these days I'm doing my best to more make sure that it's integrated. Although, honestly, I kind of always do that, but of course there's different levels to these things, right? So sometimes it comes in right away and I push record, but because, again, I've been going through this purge process, especially the last few weeks, last week or two especially, I just really wanted to honor my own process. Anyway, I got a notification that an airline is going bankrupt and canceled a bunch of flights. I did not look into it. I don't know which airline. I don't know anything about it. I didn't even know that was happening. But I've been having a lot of dreams that I was actually just interpreting this past week about, I've been having these dreams for a long time, but it's been ramping up about like innovative flying and innovative forms of flying and air travel. And it's really interesting because I just realized I had been hearing and seeing the number 737, which I believe is like a type of plane, right? 737. Did you hear that bird just like sing its little chirp as I said that? So yeah, there's something I feel like collectively going on in the innovation of air travel, and I'm sure some of you may be more attuned to this. I haven't done any research. I don't really know what's going on. I mean, over the years, I've definitely had things pop up and I've looked into it, but it hasn't been something I've been like actively following. But it feels like a lot of people are coming to terms with like, all these, like, if you ever look at like an air travel, like a plane ticket receipt, it's like the things that they charge for. Not everyone like looks at the itemized thing. I had this realization years ago, and I just like had my, my feelings about it, but I still travel through the air. So I've been just kind of doing a lot of that like energetic blueprinting in terms of like calling in those next innovations in air travel. Not saying I'm like fully responsible for that, but like that's just something that I've been intuitively guided to do. And I'm sure a lot of us have, even if we're not conscious of it. So yeah, there's something about like, I'm seeing the 11th house in 11th house in astrology. Yeah, Aquarian, like, even though it rules like the digital space and digital community, there's something about like the evolution of air travel and the innovation of air travel that just keeps coming through. So I feel like in the next couple years we may be having, a lot of that shadowy Plutonian darker side of the current air travel, especially, well, not really especially commercial, just air travel in general. Because, the more people who realize a lot of the darker sides, hence subconscious illumination, right? So the more we're calling in that next octave of how we... that motorcycle that just went by. How we choose to travel in the air. Both individually and collectively. I feel like places like Dubai and the Middle East have like, or the UAE. I remember seeing a while ago they have these like drones, almost like taxi drones. So I know like things are already happening, but yeah, the masses, it seems to be catching up more to the masses is my point here. Which, my big thing about these type of evolutions is like they tend to happen like individuals first are like at the forefront and bring through in like smaller groups and privatize, and then over time the masses get wind and then we start to have larger changes, more collective changes. So yeah, this is so many different areas of life, but for some reason air travel is coming through very specifically, and what this can mean like symbolically and energetically, like speaking of astral travel, those of us who have been really tuning into the inner planes and these potentials and energetic imprints and blueprints of like our own Merkaba light body, kind of setting those vehicles in the astral to higher expanded anchoring of future timelines and potentials. Yeah, so it feels like there's the focus on that, as well as this how that could potentially manifest as evolution in travel, air travel specifically again, but just travel in general. So those of us again who are working on our inner crystalline technologies, it feels like it's also happening on a spiritual astral travel level as well, which is very exciting. And some of you who do experience the ethers astrally, you may have been noticing some changes or shifts within yourself and your landscapes. So that could be coming up soon if it hasn't already. I'm seeing like a very, like the iridescent clouds. I forget the proper name of those. And there's like ice crystals in the clouds. Yeah, so miasma, frozen light, that can kind of manifest as this like ice holds that iridescent or heliotalic spectrum, the pastel rainbow, or the what I call the high self of the rainbow, like the etheric templates of the rainbow spectrum are like starting to and continuing like that sprinkle shower to sprinkle in. I don't know if you hear the birds, but I love when they chime in. 1500 on the timer. You may be seeing repeating 5s as well, repeating 0s. And I wanted to also mention that yesterday I decided to, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I think it was yesterday, walk to, I'm staying pretty close to the Adriatic Sea, a place called Yaz Beach, and I was feeling that heaviness, collective heaviness for sure, but something told me to just take it slow and get myself there. And I actually recorded a mini transmission that I uploaded on YouTube and TikTok yesterday, the 23rd of May, 15:55 on the timer. Those 1s and 5s are really coming through, and 0s and 5s. I didn't say once, but when I just looked at my notes, there was like 1111, 111, 111, and I saw 111 multiple times today, so, and 1111. Hello. Well, my friend walked by, so I got distracted. Yes, so the word surprise came through this mini transmission when I was walking. I just paused, by the way, to say hello to my friend, so I'm not sure where I left off. But I know I was speaking about that. So I walked to the sea. I posted and uploaded that mini transmission that came through. And like I said, I just kept feeling this heaviness, and I had so much tension in my body, like I was talking about. And I kept hearing the phrase, like, collective pain body flush. And I kept hearing that for a couple days. And so I didn't plan on recording when I got to the sea. Actually, I was like, no, I just need some time for myself. And then I got there. I took a little time for myself. I wet my hair in the water, and then I got out, and like, boom, I just felt this like ping for the collective pain body flush. And so I just started recording right next to the sea. There is a little bit of wind in the background, but honestly, it like synchronistically worked with the messages that were coming in. So I just left it the way it was, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it yet. Okay, this is so funny. I just looked up in the clouds and saw an X, but I didn't say anything. And then I looked away. I'm also seeing the Eye of Horus. And then I looked away, or the Eye of Horus. I looked away, and I was like, oh. About 30 seconds later, now there's these 2 planes, unfortunately, spraying. I wish to send love, but they're making this huge X in the sky. Like, I cannot ignore it. Like, the first one, I was like, I see it, but it's pretty faint. If it's meant to come back, it will. And then boom, like, whoop, oh my God, this bird just flew so close to me. It just scared the shit out of me, to be honest. Literally almost touched my leg. I don't know if you heard the fluttering. So there's this giant X in the sky, and this bird that just made quite the dramatic entrance. Yeah, so it's like, if something comes around, even though that was like within seconds apart, and it's like, it will just keep coming back louder and louder. Whatever it is that's meant for you to experience. That might be like a very broad, diluted way of saying that. I don't mean to I don't love the way that came out, but I'll just keep going and let it like unravel. So as I'm staring at this big X, so I was talking about this recording, and I did not feel guided to upload it yesterday. I wasn't exactly sure what to do with it. And in less than 24 hours, there were, and I write about this in the description box on Patreon, so I uploaded it as a digital product on Patreon. So it is there and ready to be received if that's something that calls to you. And like I said, there's more info in the description box, and I'll link that in the description box below. In the Patreon description box, there's more info about this collective pain body flush. And now, when I woke up today and felt this relief, and there were like multiple synchronicities and experiences that happened with the messages that came through yesterday. So I wasn't sure if I was going to release it or just keep it for myself, but something told me that it was time to release it. So that is available. And yeah, within less than 24 hours, there were, multiple contributing factors to releasing collective tension and ancestral patterning. But of course, after I recorded that, it was like, I don't know, it was just this path of ease, which is exactly what we were calling in this transmission. So yeah, it was really just, I love when that happens. But X's, that can stand for like a crossroads, there's also been a lot of being in between two timelines, like exiting one experience and feeling that future version, like right here, but not quite being in either one fully. That has definitely been a current energetic imprint that's been happening. And something that also kept coming up was a timeline split. And that came through, I believe, in the last Patreon overflow that I uploaded. And maybe a little bit, I'm also seeing cherries. For some reason, cherries. That came through also a little bit in the 11/11 YouTube transmission. I believe that was the last transmission before the mini one that I was speaking about with the word surprise in it. So, I've been leaving water out for the cats too, and one of the cats just came to the water. Like a watering hole. They're so cute. I'm getting distracted watching this cat because it drinks like, I don't know, just like so, its tongue is moving so fast. Okay. Now it just caught me watching it. Like, I see you. So this idea of our internal timeline split and merge, how it comes through and manifests through our own life, and then of course collectively as well. 22:33 on the timer. Also, I saw a Celtic knot in the clouds the other day, and then right after I saw that, I wrote it down, and then I listened to a collective reading from Venusian Light Tarot, I believe she calls herself. It's either Venusian Soul Tarot or Venusian Light Tarot. There's two of them, and I always mix them up, and they're both amazing. But right after that, something told me to click on her reading, and she literally was like, you just untied, like, one of your, like, a really deep-rooted knot. And that was really synchronistic after seeing that, and it's really interesting because I just looked up in the sky right now, and that X is now turned into, like, there's a circle, like a circle with right in the center of the X, and then there's like this new plane with a trail, I'll say, that's coming in. And yes, I know they're terrible, and I said light, but I'm using the sky as divination right now. And so it's like this new trail is like kind of off in the distance, and it's much shorter, and you can't quite see it as fully, but that knot that's tying the other two, we'll use timelines just for lack of a better word, together, is like releasing all this other cloud. Looks like it's like when you pop like a pimple and the pus comes out. That's what it looks like. So yeah, it feels like a congealed miasma collectively that's been, when like a cat plays with a ball of yarn, it's like it's been coming apart, pieces come off, you take a break, you come back to it, so whenever you're finding this, it feels like there's been, I just saw like beautiful light codes come in like a cobalt blue, and then it like lightened up into this like iridescent blue, or like a bioluminescent blue. So beautiful. And now there's another skyscraper. What's it called? Not skyscraper. You know what I mean? What I've been talking about. Come in, and there's like these two they're parallel to each other. and they're getting like longer and a little bit more dark very slowly. So yeah, it's like these new timelines are coming in. And of course, when I say timelines, I just mean potentials of new attraction points within our own selves that co-create. A lot of us are going through this collectively, and we have these different collectives. And I think that's why there's so many people being called now to like but continuing and starting to like share from a more experiential way of like leading by example paradigm, because there's this call for a lot of people to, you know, change makers, disruptors, whatever it is. But the collective I'm tuning into, this doesn't feel like I'm here to tell you what to do, or I'm here to change anyone. There's something about the acceptance of what is as well. You know, like people around us, not everything and everyone is on that same time trajectory, and that's okay. And there's something about allowing like the co-creation of all that is to be in all of its phases and stages and evolutions. And if you feel that drive to continue on a more evolutionary path, then that is up to you, and that's how you continue, you know. There's also something about holding that duality of also like allowing things again to be as they are. It's like balancing knowing that you're perfect just as you are, but also knowing that change is inevitable. And yeah, there's something really like that dichotomy is really coming through. And in addition to that, my attention just got drawn to, I have a mango sitting here in the sun, to this mango tomato. So that could be relevant for someone. I was just reminded of something, and I was shown my left ear, but I heard left eye. Does anyone remember Left Eye Lopez? I don't know why she just came through, Lisa Lopez. I haven't thought of her in a long time. I'm sending love because of that whole, all of those amazing people who had the experiences they had. So the other day I was sitting there and my ear, so it happened this morning too, what I'm about to say. But first, when I was sitting in the midst of all of this that I'm speaking about, I think it was, yesterday or the day before, within the last couple days, I have ear tones and pitch frequency that come in almost daily at this point. But do you hear the birds in the background? But this one hit differently than usual, and it came in like I could feel it starting from within my field, like the inner planes. I could feel it starting, and then as the tone started to, almost like seeing a practitioner bowl or like a crystal bowl when you hit with the I guess it's called a wand. Like you circle it around and you can hit it and then circle it, and it keeps the vibration going, rippling out. It started like within my ear and then was like rippling outward for like a good amount of time. And I could feel like the, if you want to call it like the inner planes, inner earth frequency, like they were like chiming in, and I felt like a collective of beings with this. And I've been really drawn to watch. I've been into subliminals for a long time, and just recently I've been really drawn to, like, it showed up on my timeline on YouTube, like with on my For You page or whatever it's called. I didn't seek it out, but there was these like backgrounds with frequency music, and the backgrounds are like these beautiful crystalline like temples that I've tuned in meditation infinite amount of times. But like, yeah, I guess someone started making these, and they're so beautiful to me. Anyway, maybe some of you would like it too. And some of them were like, have that, just to me, like that feeling of like my dream aesthetic. And whether it's like healing temples, healing chambers, crystal cathedrals, some of them were like futuristic homes that have that vibe. Also, some of them have like a future Aquarian technology vibe. like integrated in the organic structures. Just a lot of things like that have been popping up. And I've been watching these with the frequency tones, and there's something about like calling in land, a new home, something of that nature. You know, I'm pretty nomadic right now, and I haven't had a place in years at this point, a couple years. But like, there's always this part of me that is like co-creating this visual of something I'll experience. And even though it may not be exactly this thing, it's been like evoking this emotion and this feeling within me of like what being in, like, I honestly feel at home pretty much anywhere in the world at this point. And I've kind of always felt that way in terms of like not one place, but being with home within myself, but to play in this realm and to be able to like live somewhere and create something, because I love design and, you know, stuff like that. Anyway, it's just an example. So I've just been like watching this and utilizing it as like a way to evoke that emotion of what it would feel like to like be in the aesthetics that just would make me feel so happy, you know? Same thing with like clothing or whatever it is that you're working through. So you may be having experiences like this, like maybe things are just kind of showing up and you're like, oh, I didn't think to watch this before, but now I'm really drawn to it. Like, that's just one example. And I've been really called, especially this week, to like work through just like memories that have been coming up, experiences that maybe in the past I kind of like either was too emotionally reactive in the moment to like let myself process it, and or like kind of just making excuses instead of just letting myself admit what I was really feeling. So I've just been having like a wave of memories come up and just been writing them out, like writing, letting it all out. And today I had like this moment again where my body just felt like the lightest it's felt in quite a while, and I could feel like a collective breakthrough as well. Like I mentioned, and when I tuned in for a moment, I felt my left clavicle like completely light up, and I could feel like, for me the left clavicle is the feminine lineages and the ancestral lines, and I could just feel so many feminine energy in, usually it's the mother line on the left, but I'm more just getting like the feminine lineages. So blood, ancestrally, but also collectively, spiritually. I'm hearing all realms, all dimensions, how much we exist. There's just this like, it was just one of those moments, like I just felt warmth like welling up in my heart, and it was like coming through my eyes like as tears, you know? Speaking of that sprinkle sun shower, yeah, that's like the best way I could describe what I was feeling. And this happened a few hours before the sprinkle shower. And I knew then that was definitely collective, because I was just sitting there, and like every time I'm doing personal work as well, I always include the collective that I feel connected to. So thank you for being a co-creative part of that, even if we haven't connected yet in this linear time space. Yeah, so it was just this path of ease, the subconscious illumination in the next octave of the path of ease, if I could sum it up. And I want to take a moment because there's